Hey, hey, hey. You actually put the mic closer to me so you can hear me. How is it going? Happy Wednesday to everybody. Um, I'm going to keep this rather quick, but before I get into tonight's topic, real quick, if you're on here, first of all, thank you for joining me tonight. Please get the likes up, tag anybody on this broadcast who you think might find it interesting. We're going to be talking about divesting and why I think Black women actually should divest. Um, so yeah, if you're on here, get the likes up, tag anybody on this broadcast who you think may find it interesting. Also, real quick, for those of you who don't know, I now have a YouTube channel membership. So if you would like to become a YouTube channel member and receive specific perks, like behind the scenes, just extra access to videos, different things like that, check out my membership page to learn more. This was just rolled out recently, so yeah, I'm super excited to connect with you guys. So and lastly, I want to thank everybody who has shown support, whether it's through Cash App, whether it's through Venmo, Super Chats. I appreciate all of you guys. And if you want to continue to show some more support and to get this message out there, please share, like, subscribe. And also, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo, also PayPal, Shay Sade. And like I said, as always, sending some love. But anyway, so just get into tonight's topic. You know what? I believe Black women should divest. Black women really should divest, but I think they should divest from the sisterhood of failure. Now, I'll explain. Um, well, my question is why are so many women following women who actually don't have results? Why are women following other women who do not have the results they claim to have? I've noticed this more and more that some of the leading influencers in the YouTube space, in the digital marketing space, some of the leading influencers where women are going and flocking to and listening to time and time again, they don't necessarily have a resume of, or a track record of success. They have personality, perhaps. They have maybe a look, but they don't necessarily have the resume of success. And see, and here's an interesting thing. I posted a video, maybe it was like last week or 2 weeks ago with April Mason. Many of you guys know April Mason. She is a femininity expert. She's worked with modern women in general, especially Black women. And she came out again, similar to, Ayanna Bansett, Rebecca Lynn Pope. She came out and basically said, look, I'm going to stop working with women because they're hard to deal with. Basically, that's just basically what she said. They're hard to deal with. And evidently she'd been running this entire like matchmaking kind of dating business that was, helping women to try to find, you know men that they liked, high value men to date, be in relationships with, marry, stuff like that. And in it she was like, yeah, I have a really high track record. I've helped people connect with other people. I've helped, women find high value men to date. I've helped even a few people get married. So she's like, my track record speaks for itself. But essentially, I'm going to stop doing this because y'all woman is too hard to deal with. She literally said that. And so I posted about this. And I just shared my perspective. What is interesting? What's interesting to me? Of course, I got a lot of negative feedback, as to be expected. And I also got a lot of positive feedback. But what was interesting to me is that there were a few comments, and all of these comments, and I'll say it, came from white women. They didn't come from Black women. They didn't come, well, apart from men, they came from white women. And there's a few white women that hopped into my comments and said, why are these women following women who aren't married? They're literally like, they're looking at April Mason. They're just like, wait, is she married? Like, why is she giving relationship advice? Why is she having this whole relationship dating course? Like, is she even married? Like, what's her resume? They like came in and asked this. And to me, that wasn't like the whole purpose of my video. The video was just like looking at what she says. I'm like, okay, she's been in the industry, she's been in this space. April Mason has literally nothing to gain by hating on Black women, or just not just women in general, but she has nothing to gain. She's a femininity coach, so why would she have such a damning report? So, like I said, as I'm saying that, some women hop in and they're just like, wait, is she even qualified? What's going on? Like I said, it was a white woman who said this. Crazy, 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 crazy. So, and I've noticed this theme time and time and time and time again, where it's like this isn't to say people shouldn't have their opinion. They obviously are. People are entitled to their opinion. And I think that's one of the great things about, a YouTube or Instagram or social media in general, is that it gives people a platform. I think one of the downsides about the YouTube and the social media is that it gives people a platform. Like, it gives everybody a platform. And I'm finding that some of the most influential people do not necessarily have the resume of success. They don't necessarily have a track record of success. And so I've literally had to have conversations, even in the last few weeks. I've had a conversation with friends and I'm like, hey, I mean, to me, this seems like common sense, but you probably should follow people. Like, if you want a specific result in your life, you should actually follow people who have that result. For example, if I want to get, I don't know, a 6-pack abs, I'm probably not going to take diet and exercise advice from somebody who's, 400 pounds overweight. Not to say they don't have value in something else, not to say they're not, a good person, but in that particular area, unless I want that result, then I'm not going to listen to them. Or if I want to, I don't know, I want to have a successful, 7-figure business, probably not going to take financial advice from somebody who's homeless and doesn't have a pot to piss in, like, literally. Not to say that person doesn't have value, not to say, there's not things that they're good at, but in that particular area, if I'm not seeing the success, probably don't need to listen to you. So, like, to me, that just seems like common sense. But unfortunately, I'm noticing this more and more. And of course, I'm noticing this as I am doing market research. So I'm going out and saying, okay, where are women hanging out? Where are they liking, subscribing? Like, where are they populating? Because that's very much who I'm interested in talking to. And that is something that has come up time and time again. But here is one of the biggest challenges that I've had, or one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing. This whole idea of divesting. Black women more and more being encouraged to divest. I don't have a problem with, people dating interracially just at face value. Like I said, I if as long as it's, there's true mutual love and respect, and people are really truly understanding to, wanting to work out cultural differences, like, I don't have a problem with that on a face value. But what I do have a problem with is that people, like, there are lies being spread. Women, Black women in particular, are being told that, hey, if you have a bad life, you've had bad relationships, you need to go divest from the Black community and find Brad. And that's going to make all your problems go away. And the main problem I have with some of this divest movement is that some of the primary, I guess, facilitators, if you will, or promoters of this message don't have a successful track record. It'd be one thing if we knew these people were, okay, helping to get people married, helping to get, Black women married with, with white guys and Latino guys. If there's a track record of them not only helping them get married, helping them get secured, but helping to keep them, married long term, maybe providing counseling, maybe providing racial sensitivity training, or maybe providing, like, I don't know, a gym membership. Like, I don't know. Like, it'd be one thing if they were like, okay, divest and do these different things in order to maintain it. And then there's a track record of success to show not only are they helping their followers get to that point, but they themselves are actually living that. They're living that. But I'm not seeing that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys know, like, if I'm missing something, if there's a whole community of, divestors who are legitimately, not only are they living that life, but, they're being successful, let me know. But from what I've seen, not only does it just kind of seem like it seems to be smoke and mirrors. The bigger issue is that ideology is coupled with self-hate. If you want to date Brad, date Brad. If you want to marry Brad, if he wants to marry you, but if that's what you want, okay. But don't go around and spread the lie that say that you specifically need to divest from Black men as a Black woman because Black men are evil and all non-Black men are not evil. That is toxic, and that is hurtful, and that is just not only hurtful, it is dangerous. I mean, the amount of killings I've seen this year alone where black women in interracial relationships have gotten killed, have gotten abused, have gotten beaten. I mean, I've just lost count. And so, like I said, just because somebody's of a different nationality doesn't mean that they're just automatically perfect. And Black women do themselves a great disservice if they just if they just, automatically assume, okay, I'm going to go over here and get perfect treatment. And what that shows me, what it really shows me, if somebody truly believes that, that shows you that they actually honestly don't have a relationship with white people. They don't know white women. They don't know white men. Because if you honestly talk to these people, if you, like I said, if you honestly talk to a white woman or white women, they're not going to sit here and tell you that their life is perfect. If you know history, you know feminism was started from white women who were unhappy with their white men. So it's like let's get past the BS here. It's one thing to want to date somebody or to be attracted to somebody of a different ethnicity. It's like, okay, whatever. But do not get trapped into the savior complex. And I'm seeing that being promoted, and it's very toxic and it's very unhelpful. And it's being promoted from women who do not have track records of success. And that is my biggest issue. So that's what I'm saying. Women, if you were going to take advice, why would you take advice from somebody who has not shown through actions, through their reputation, through, who hasn't shown that they actually, not only do they have success, or they're not, promoting people who have successful relationships. To me, it just seems like smoke in the mirrors. And what I'm finding out, to me, what it seems like is that at the end of the day, there are some women who just want to be told. They don't really want the truth. They don't actually really want to change. They don't actually really want to face what's going on internally. They just want to be told something to placate their feelings. They just want to be told something to make them feel better. But there is not an honest desire to have a truthful conversation. And if that's you, okay, I mean, if that's you, you're probably not going to like me. You'll probably call me a pick me. You may call me a mammy. You may call me male identified, all the kind of different stuff. You're not going to like me. If you're that person who just does not want to have an honest conversation and you just want to be told something to make you feel better and you don't want to, be called to be introspective, then you're not going to like me. But if you are a woman who's like, hey, I want to do better. I want to maybe avoid the mistakes that my mom made or my, grandmother made or my auntie made or my sister made, whatever it may be, or even I made, then I really think it is important to vet. I mean, when I mean vet, I mean like really, really look after who are you actually following? Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Do they even have a track record of success to be speaking to you? And so often today, because people have maybe hundreds of thousands of followers, then it's I don't know if it's like conscious or subconscious, but some people just automatically assume, especially young women, they assume, okay, well, someone else is following them, so they must be valuable. They must know what they're doing. And it's not always like that. Some people, like I said, they're just pretty, or they have a cute personality, or they dress nice, or they know how the algorithm works, so they use that to their favor. But that does not mean they are qualified to give you the advice that you need. So for those of you who are on, thank you. Please get the likes up. Tag anybody on this broadcast who you think may find it interesting. And I am saying, Black women should divest. Black women should divest from the sisterhood of failure. And when I say the sisterhood of failure, I mean specifically this. Divesting from anybody who was going to placate your feelings, who was going to tell you lies to just soothe your emotions, and not going to encourage you to actually be introspective and do better. That doesn't help anyone. And it bothers me and it's upsetting to me when I can go online or I can go in spaces where women are supposed to be having honest conversations and we're spewing hate and lies. We're spewing hate and lies about men, about Black men, worshiping, white men or non-Black men, as if those men don't have problems and those men don't have challenges. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, first of all, y'all don't even know white people. You're not talking to white people if you're thinking like this. You have never sat down and had a real honest conversation and real long-term relationship with white people. If you really believe that these people are over here like running in tulips and daisies and don't have struggles. Like, are you mad? Like, are you kidding me? So that's unhelpful. And secondly, that it does not give women it doesn't encourage women to actually be introspective and be like, what's going on? What is truly going on with me? And we as women do ourselves no favors when we just listen to people who make us feel better, but don't actually listen to people who are trying to help us. And sometimes somebody who's trying to help you, they may not tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what's good for you to hear. But in the long run, it's going to lead to results. It's going to lead to good results. So thank you for the super chat. Let me see. The divestment channels, they talk about the very thing they divested from, the entire podcast. LOL US. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, I do believe Black women should divest, but I think they should divest from situations. They should divest from communities that are just feeding them lies. That are feeding them lies. Now, I think what's one of the ways you can actually tell, if maybe what you're listening to is not helping. First of all, like if you're taking relationship advice from a woman who hates men and you want to be in a relationship, you probably should stop. Like, this seems like it would be common sense, but women who want to be in relationships with men should not take relationship advice from women who hate men. If you have a channel that literally spends the entire time talking about how dusty dudes are, if that is the entire 80-90% of your channel is about how dusties, these trash bag dusties and all the struggle dusties and all the beta male, if that is your entire channel and you actually desire a healthy relationship, you probably should not listen to that person. Because let's just be honest. What man is attracted to a woman that complains 24/7? What man is attracted to a woman that is constantly complaining about other men? That is completely unattractive. So if men, first of all, when men see that, I don't think women understand that they make themselves look incredibly unattractive. It's not to say you can't have honest conversations about challenges you had, bad interactions. That's one thing. But if you literally spend your entire podcast, the entirety of your message bashing men, don't think men are going to come to you and be like, oh, wow, you're a catch. Oh, wow, you're a prize. Let me, sign me up to date you. Men are thinking this woman seems cantankerous. She seems bitter and angry, and I don't want to be next to her. They may smash and dash, but like, that's that's it. I see Ashley Hill. Hey, I'm new to the channel. You are right. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. It says, I listen to broke people for stock investment advice. And sometimes, yeah, if you want to listen to, what not to do, that's one thing. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to be in a healthy relationship, you probably shouldn't be listening to women who hate men. Like, that seems common sense, but it's not. If 90% of the channel is about how these dusties are, how horrible they are. Okay. Secondly, what is it actually saying about you as a woman? Let's just be honest. If the entirety of your relationship, if you're in relationship, history has been with struggle dusties and bandits and beta males and all of the terms that people use. What is that saying about your ability to choose as a woman? It's not looking good. And so that's what I'm saying. You probably shouldn't do that. Yeah. So if you want relationship advice, don't listen to women who hate men. That's a bad recipe for success. I hear they're in echo chambers. Yes, they are. And that's what I'm saying. There are people out there who simply want their emotions to be placated. They simply want to go on a platform and hear somebody tell them something to make them feel better about their sorry life. Versus being like, okay, I don't like where I'm at in my life. I'm not happy with where I'm at. I'm not happy with the decision I made. How do I do better? To me, that's a more productive conversation. And, while I can't speak for other channels and their motives, I will say, at least here, I actually want to have real and honest conversations. And that means that people need to be called to the table. That means, hey, sometimes there's things that we do that need to be called to the table. That means sometimes, hey, there's things that men do that need to be called to the table. But like, nobody does anybody any favors if we just sit here and just complain half the time and then blame it on other people, blame it on other men, never take responsibility for ourselves and never be encouraged to look in the mirror. I see. Thank you for the super chat, Houdini Unchained. See you at the top. I appreciate it. For all of you guys who are on, please get the likes up, tag anybody on this broadcast who you think may find it interesting. And we're just talking about why I believe Black women should divest. They should divest from the sisterhood of failure. So how would I define the sisterhood of failure? To me, is this anybody who is just spewing lies, and just telling women things that they want to hear, but not encouraging them to actually want to step up and be productive. I believe there's a place for people to share their opinion. There's a place for people to share their perspective. Like, that's valid. But like I said, I'm not for a woman being lied to. I'm not for a Black woman being lied to and saying that the problem is 100% men and all these non-Black men, all these white men, all these brads, Mexican men, Asian men, they're the answer. And these women aren't being challenged really challenged to look internally, to look at their spiritual walk, to look at their walk with God, to look at their physical walk, to look at their emotional well-being. Like, they're not being challenged in that way. So often, what I see happening just on popular channels, what I see happening, just a common narrative is it's just let's just blame it on men. Just blame men. Just blame black men. I have another video literally saying that, blame black men. When all else fails, blame black men. That's popular, but it's not always helpful. It is not always helpful. So sisterhood failure is just that. And secondly, like I said, why are we constantly following other women who don't have a track record of success? Just because a woman has a nice bag, because she's gone on cute vacations, because she knows how to beat her face, because she knows how to put on a good lace front, knows how to have a cute background. Those are all nice things. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that does not mean that she's actually successful. So you should actually be really, really mindful about who are you listening to. Is the person I'm listening to, do they actually have the results that I want? And if they don't, take it with a grain of salt. Or you don't have to take their advice. You can listen to them. You can let it go in one ear, out the other. For me, I'm not gonna sit and pretend like I know everything. So that's why, as I can, and as I want to continue to bring on different people, bring on different elders, bring on different people that I know who've, raised kids, different people who've pastored churches for decades, different people who've, had businesses, people who have actually put in their theories to test and walked it out. So those are the kind of conversations I want to have, because I'm like, I don't pretend to know everything. And it'd be no disservice if I'm going to sit here and say, oh, I'm this and that, follow me. And I've never actually done it. And I don't actually have the proven success. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to sit here and, and try to lie to you or tell you that I know something that I'm not. So that's where, as a young woman, I can say, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Where I don't know something, let's talk to an elder. Where I don't know somebody, let's talk to a professional. So we can make sure that we are truly being led and instructed, or having information from people who are actually validated, not just some cute person that, knows how to do their makeup, or somebody that just happens to have a good following because they know how the algorithm works. Like I said, that's not going to help nobody. So yes, please hit the like button. Tag anybody on here who you think may find this interesting. But anyways, I didn't want to keep this rather short. I was going to say, before, and I'll say it again, far too often I'm seeing content that is geared towards women, especially Black women, that is toxic. It's telling them that men are the problem, that these struggle dusties are the problem, that these, beta males are the problem, that all the different names. And women are not being encouraged to actually be introspective and look at why they may not be having the results that they want. And that is not helpful. It's just simply not helpful. There are bad guys out there. There are bad Black men out there. But the issue for Black women, the answer to their problems is not to divest. That is not the answer to a Black woman's problems, to divest. If a Black woman is having a problem in her life, she probably needs to figure out first why. Look internally, look spiritually. How's your relationship with God? How's your relationship with yourself? How is, like I said, your mental, your physical, your emotional well-being? Like, those are the things to look at before you go and blame men or Black men. Because what happens is, if we don't do that work, if we don't look in the mirror and say, okay, why am I here? And not to necessarily judge yourself, but to be honest with where you're at. If we don't honestly look in the mirror and say why I'm here, we're going to take those same struggles and now take it to a what do they call it? A bottom Brad, whatever the name is. You go find a Brad who's just as dusty, if not dustier, than the Black dudes he was dealing with in the community. You're going to take all those issues, take it into a relationship with Brad, and then you may have the same results sometimes, if not worse. And that's what I'm saying. Some of the biggest primary divester page channels, whatever it may be, I'm like, where's your success story? And who have you helped be successful? Because it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to live it. And like I said, the different things that I hear, the different ideologies that I hear, that like, oh, if you do Brad, oh, he's gonna treat me better, he's gonna honor me, he's gonna A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, sis, have you talked to white women? You are aware that feminism literally started because white women said that their white women weren't treating them right. This is not to say that like all relationships within like white culture are bad. Obviously, it's not. But I'm saying you should not, idolize white men because first of all, a lot of these white men are just like, this is weird. Like you got white men who are not coming back and being like, yo, this is strange. I don't know what's going on with y'all, but I'm not interested. Stop. you got you got white men coming out and saying that. Secondly, that means you're not in a relationship with white people. Because if you just think because, you're with a white dude or whatever, that life is going to be a lot easier, you are not being honest with yourself. And you obviously have not had good, long relationships with people of that ethnicity because they struggle too. They struggle hard. Like some of them struggle really, really, really hard. So don't get it twisted. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these, so these people who are over here, oh, I'm just gonna get me a Brad. I'm just gonna get me this, and that. I'm just like, have you actually been in communication with those people? Have you lived next to them? Have you sat down and eaten food and broken bread? Like, do you actually know? Because I hear some of these things, and I'm just like, you have no idea. You're thinking ideologically. And what that shows is that you're actually not dealing with your reality and why you're at your reality. And that's not helpful. That's not helpful. So, black women, divest from them lies, divest from the sisterhood of failure. Anybody that's just gonna have you believing some lies, it's not gonna help you. If you want, like I said, it's one thing to want to date somebody or marry somebody because you fell in love. I have no issue with that. But don't think that your life is automatically going to be better just because you choose a non-black person. That's bad. And not only is that bad, that can lead you down a really, really bad, that can lead you down a really, really bad road. It can lead you to an unsafe road to where you start picking. Sometimes you start actually taking on or accepting behavior from a non-black person that you wouldn't accept from a black person. And like I said, that can lead to all kind of psychological BS. So don't do that. People are people. There's amazing black men. There are bad, dusty black men. There are amazing white men. There are bad, dusty white men. That, but don't, like I said, don't let nobody lie to you about that because that's a problem. It says they will suffer in silence with a bottom shelf Brad, but bash a forward moving brother. Facts. Facts. I know too many white women in my life who have struggled hard. I mean, like on the floor, face on the floor, struggle. Like, I know too many. I know too many. So it's like anybody who believes that just because you end up with a guy with light skin and your life is going to be easy, you haven't talked to these women. You haven't sat and cried with them and had conversations and had them call you up and had them be like, pray for me. Like, you haven't done that. So stop. Stop. Because it's not true. That's a lie. And the conversation we should be happening is black women. How do we, if it seems like we're having these kinds of results, why? What's going on? Like I said, I've had to do that in my life when I look at something and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this about myself, or I don't like this result. What's happening? What about me is causing this? And I start there and make sure I'm cool there. And if I'm not cool there, then I have to deal with it. I'll be like, okay, God, like help me to deal with this, and then actually take actionable steps to deal with it. But you have to start there. That's the only way there's even going to be any ounce or any chance for something better. And like I said, I understand certain people just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to be challenged to change. They just want to be coddled emotionally. And if that's what you want, that's what you want. But if you actually want to have an honest conversation and look at the facts and say, how do I do better? How do I actually be introspective and be real what's going on? Then you first have to stop listening to people who are telling you lies. And like I said, that's one way you can know if somebody's telling you a lie. If they're telling you stuff and you don't even see the fruit in their own life, you see no fruit in their life, you see no resume, nothing, then you can question what they're saying. Secondly, if you're a woman who wants to be in a relationship with a dude and the woman you're listening to, all she does is just hate and brag, or not brag, but hate, but bash men, you probably shouldn't listen to her either, because that's incredibly unattractive for men. Men looking at women complaining all the time about other men think that's incredibly unattractive. And you don't want to be around that vibe. You don't. So anyways, it's kind of late. I need to eat dinner. So I wanted to keep this quick, but I want to thank all of you guys who have hopped on. Again, if you found this helpful, please get the likes up, tag anybody on this who you think may find it interesting and may need to hear this. I know not everybody's going to agree, and that is okay. That is okay. But I truly, 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 truly do believe that Black women, more than anything, need to divest from bad lies and divest from the sisterhood of failure, aka women or anybody that's just going to, who's just going to sell them false hope and not encourage them to actually change and be better. That's not helpful at all. It's not helpful for them, and that's how people's lives end up being destroyed. So that's what I got. Anyways, I appreciate all of you guys. And yeah, we're going to continue this conversation, I'm sure. And we'll talk later. Bye.